everyone, I wanted to say thank you so much for visiting my channel. Today we're going to do a very simple makeup look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I leave all of the different items that I use listed in the description below. That way you can go back and visit those things that I used. But it's just going to be a very simple everyday look. So here we go. First off, I'm going to start by using my Mary Kay Naturally Nourishing Oil. This stuff, I'm trying to see if I can, is amazing. Again, I will link everything that I use below. So I'm just going to take a small amount and put it on my fingers here. Rub this on. Now the thing I like about this is it's a natural line. It smells so good. It's very gentle for anybody who has sensitive skin. And it just feels really good. I wish you guys could smell this because I love it so much. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my primer here. And we're going to prime the face. Now again, like I said, this is going to be a very simple look, so we're not going to go too crazy. But living in Texas, it's very, very hot and it's very easy to sweat your makeup off. So a primer is pretty much a must when you live here. So got that on. This is, again, the Mary Kay Foundation Primer. And this one I really like because it also has sunscreen in it. That, of course, again, living in such a hot place is very important. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my under eye corrector and put a little dabs. Being a mom, I am full of dark circles, and that's just what we deal with. I'm going to blot this in, just a nice gentle tapping motions around the eye. You never want to pull because you don't want to add any additional wrinkles in that area, and it's just not good for your eye area. It's the most sensitive area on your face. So you need to just be gentle in that area. And sometimes, depending on how tired I look, I'll even do this to kind of make sure that I cover up any of those lines that will happen on the top of my eyelid. But again, that's only depending on what I think is going on. And then I usually take whatever's left over on my beauty blender and pat that just around my nose just so that it looks a little more blended. And because I typically wear glasses, I do have some discoloration here from them sitting. So we did that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my foundation, and I typically put it just a little on the back of my hand. I love the pump ones. I think that they're so much easier and creamier to use. So that's typically the kind that I would pick. And I just think it blends better. We're just going to take our beauty blender and rub that all around. And again, because this is a more simple everyday look, we're not going to go, to the extremes with this. We're just going to find our best matches, pick out the features that we like the most, accent that. Let's see. This is always, to me, one of the silliest parts of doing this, because just the dab. But it really kind of sets it into your face so much better doing your foundation this way. The other thing that I think is really important is to always, when you're using a beauty blender, to always dampen it first. And then making sure when you do your foundation to bring it down under your chin, because there's nothing worse in your jawline. There's nothing worse than ending up with that line. And if you're like me and you've been out in the sun, there's I keep getting these weird tan lines everywhere. So I figured at least I could make sure that that's not going on. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can hear my dogs in the background. I have a little dachshund and a giant pit bull terrier mix, and it's hysterical because the little dog barks some days more than the big dog, and it's like, what are you doing? We have people working outside, like doing like the lawn at the neighbor's house and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on. All right, cool. The next thing I'm gonna do, so I like, for my daily looks, I like to go ahead and just do my face first. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my highlighter and I'm going to take an angled brush and put a little on, make sure you always tap the excess off. Now, if you're not sure where your cheekbones are, the easiest way to do this is suck your face in. Okay, right here is gonna be where your contour would go. And then right above that would be your highlighter. So you're gonna take it right on the top of that bone. And again, we're not going super crazy because this is just a basic day look. Now the thing is, I actually like to bring mine up this way. And then on this side. It's so funny because I'm trying to look in two different places. One, to look at you guys, because I want to thank you all for being here and so that you know I'm actually talking to you. The other place is where I'm seeing where my makeup is, and so I feel like I look a little crazy. Okay, so see, that added just a little bit of glow. Again, we're not going too crazy. The next thing I'm going to do, just because I've been in the sun so much and my arms are much darker, I'm going to try to blend that a little bit. I'm going to take a, where'd it go? There we go. A fluffy brush for this one. Now, I'm sure a lot of people would freak out because of the fact that I'm not using a more angled brush for my bronzer, but that's just how I like to do it. So I am then going to take my bronzer and I'm just going to do a little here, and make sure you take it into the hairline, because if you don't, you get this kind of like separation here. And I'd always prefer to go a little lighter, and if I need to add more, I can, versus going super heavy to start. And then trying to like figure out how to do less of that. So again, the contour is going to go exactly where you suck in. And make sure you blend everything. Now, my favorite thing to do is I actually sometimes in my jawline will go a little heavier, and then like if I'm doing a like a nighttime look, I'll go a little more heavier, and then I'll actually use my blending to actually kind of go back like this. I mean, I know it doesn't work really so well for today, just to make sure it's a little softened, but that it's actually there. And then I will go over the top of that with my blush. Oops, I'm knocking things over. And so for my blush, I like to use something big and fluffy. I think it gets a better, does a better job of blending, because I don't like the lines between my highlighter and bronzer or contour, depending on how you're doing it or how much. And I just think it looks nicer. Oh my word. My poor little dog, he's losing his mind today. I'm not real sure what's going on with him. Then I'll go back with an even bigger brush and make sure just to blend all of that in together. That way, you don't see this like line deal going on here. Woo! Oh my gosh, that was almost my first fail. I feel like I'm part of the crew. Oh my word. Let me go check on him. I will be right back. Okay, so sorry about that. That was crazy. He was barking because there's somebody getting a car delivered next door. So that was his problem. I apologize for the distraction. Back to it. All right, so the next thing I want to do is work on my eyebrows. Now, I don't have bad eyebrows, but I definitely, like these ones stand up more, this one goes more that way. My tails sometimes do some weird things, like I have a piercing here, so this one's a little thinner than this side. So trying to make them perfect sometimes can be a little silly. And I just like to brush them up at the front, then, you know, kind of angled out, and then still a little angled out just because I like the fluffier look to my brows. So I typically do it that way. And then I'm going to take just my brow pencil, and I generally make a line very softly right at the base. Again, very softly, just to make sure that I don't go, you know, too low. So then I typically start here. And the reason that I like to start here is because these two, since I do something totally different, it seems to take me longer. So I start a little further in so I can go back to those. And I gently fill them in. Now, I'm not trying to make anything too crazy because, again, this is just a regular day look and nothing too crazy. All right, I'm gonna go to this side now. And again, starting with this middle chunk and just evening everything out. Now, I don't worry so much about if you can see some little tiny hairs, because you'll see in a minute what I'm gonna do with those. And I'm actually gonna do a whole brow tutorial, so if you wanna see that, make sure that you're subscribed, and you will get to see that. I have to admit, it does seem weird to try to explain how I do this as like my hand is in my face and in my way. Brows, I feel like you just gotta concentrate on a little harder than I like. All right, so then the next thing I'm gonna do is I actually have, oh, there it is. I have a volumizing brow tint. And so this is gonna work like a gel where it sticks it, but I also don't worry about it being like too much with the pencil, because what I've done is I picked a lighter shade for my brow tint so that it gives you kind of like a double effect than my brow pencil, which is a little darker. So I'm just gonna start gently combing that in, and if you see how I'm combing it, and they look much more natural and youthful. So we're gonna go on this side and do the same thing there. Now, I typically let them sit and dry before I go and do anything else, and you'll see the next step after I've let that stuff dry. The next thing I'm going to do is my eyeshadow. And so for this, again, because we're doing a day look, I'm not going to do anything too crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tight crease brush and something like this. I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of pointed. I'm going to take something that's a more natural color. So I think for today, this is the Belle Jorden Makeup Obsession London Shadow Palette. It's super cute. I absolutely love it. Belle Jorden is another YouTuber that I really like. And so when I saw that she came out with this, I was like, I have to have this. So this is what it looks like inside. You can see it comes with a good size mirror. And all the palette is pretty, you know, all the colors can be used in a more neutral way, or you can amp them up, which is something I really like. So today I think I'm going to go in with this color here. Oh, and it's called 1706. I'm just going to take a little of that. Whenever you put anything on your brush that's powder, make sure you always knock the excess off, because otherwise you can make a disaster. So I'm going to take my brush and, looking straight ahead, I'm going to set this in my crease and just make a nice little arch there. And do the same on the other side. Now, and that's the thing that I like about these colors is that, yes, they go on a little light, but you can build them up, and that's really something that I think that is important. Oh my gosh, did you guys just hear my stomach growling? That's like silly. Then I'm just going to take whatever is left on the brush. Make sure this is blended out and down toward my lid. So again, it's something that's very natural looking, just to add a little color to the eye there. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a tiny smudger brush, and I'm going to take this color here, Glow Baby. And I'm going to pop a little bit of this in the inner corner. On both sides. Now when I do this, I typically like, I know that looks crazy. I typically like to take it slightly onto the lid here and here. And of course, right here in the center, and then slightly under. That way, it just looks like it captures the whole inside of the eye. Then I take another brush. Oops, where is it? There it is. This is a fluffier blending brush. And then I'm just going to take it right in the center and just make sure it's not too crazy. And so what I'm doing is I'm just dabbing it in. I'm not wiping away. I'm just dabbing that right on in. All right. Now that my brows have had a chance to dry a little bit, I'm going to take my spoolie here. And I'm just going to gently brush through it just to make sure that it doesn't look too harsh. And then the reason that I like this brush so much is because on the opposite side, it's got a more tightly angled brush here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right underneath and just make sure that anything that could have gotten slightly out of place underneath is all lined up. All right, and that's my brows. Ooh, went a little, see, and that's the thing. even people like me sometimes forget to do certain things. I need to blend that corner out just a little more. And that one. There we go. Perfect. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my mascara. Oh my gosh, I have this massive makeup tray, like caddy thing over here, and it's just huge. It's absolutely huge. And so trying to find things some days is a little silly. All right, so I'm gonna take this Lash Love Fanorama mascara, and I have a couple different mirrors because I'm supposed to wear glasses, and trying to wear glasses and do your makeup is not the easiest thing in the world. So I have one, well, I have multiple. Some come in, you know, the products that I buy, but I do like this one. It's a handheld when I do my mascara, just because I can get it a little closer, and it seems to be a better, it's not magnified, but there's something about the mirror that just seems to work a little easier. So I'm going to look down when I do my mascara, because if you look up and you do this, you're going to end up getting it, you know, on your skin. So I'm going to look down, wiggle, and up. Now, again, this is just like a basic everyday look. If you want to add lashes, you definitely can. But I only wear lashes like on special occasions. I typically don't wear them every day. Again, because I wear glasses a lot, and so they get in the way. And they just feel heavy, and I just am not a huge fan of that feeling. So I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this one works pretty darn good. You almost don't even need false lashes when you have a really good mascara. And that's a nice thing. The other thing that I like about mascara too is you can always mix and match your mascaras. So for instance, if I'm going for a super dramatic look, I might use like a lengthening one first to make sure they're super, super long to get all of the other mascara that I'm going to add to them. But when you layer mascaras, you definitely have to make sure that they dry first. Otherwise, you can end up with these like crazy spider lashes. Perfect. All right. So we are totally done with the eyes. I know most people would want to go in with all the concealer and all that stuff underneath. But again, because this is just a basic look, I don't want to go like that crazy today and just feel like I have all of that on. So that brings us to the last thing, which is going to be lips. Now, I have an ungodly amount of lipstick. It's really kind of crazy. So this one color that I'm going to use is called Subtly You. And it is a little more of a, like, it seems like such a brown shade, but for my lips it seems to work. And so, as like a more neutral. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want a ton on. Again, we're going for something more natural. So instead of using all the lip liner and everything, this is how I do like my basic lipstick. So again, I'm going to blot a little. Again, like I said, basic, so we're not doing a ton. That's why we're blotting. So see, even though it looks super brown, it's not. It's definitely more neutral. I don't know that I would... This color makes me a little nervous going heavy on. I think the times that I've used this, typically if I go more heavy, I end up doing something like an ombre look to it. So it's never just that color. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my, oh, where did I put it? There it is. This is a moisturizing spray. I know most people would freak out because it's like you typically want to use a setting spray. But for me, because again, we are in Texas, it is dry but humid at the same time. It's the weirdest thing. I like to use this just to feel like I have good moisture on my skin all day. So I'm gonna close my eyes. Ooh, brand new bottle. And not a lot, just a little. All right, so this is my final look. I hope that you guys really enjoyed watching this video and that you guys would love to subscribe to my channel to see way more things that I'm gonna bring you. More makeup, more beauty, different skincare, all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned. Bye.